Good morning, classmates. Good morning, Doc. My name is Dianna Celedio, and today I will be reporting postmodern epistemology and Christian epistemology. So, since this whole topic that I'm going to be discussing is all about epistemology, the first thing that we're going to be asking, or the first thing that we need to know, would be what is epistemology, or what do we um what will we think when we see or we hear the word epistemology? Here, epistemology comes from the two Greek words epistem and logia, which means an epistem, it means knowledge, understanding. Logia means science or study. So, epistemology is the study of acquisition of knowledge. So when we use or using epistemology, we are going to be able to distinguish false from truth, and it is also said that it is the study of nature, origin, and scope of knowledge, and epistemic justification. So without epistemology, there would actually be no reason for human beings to believe for their thoughts and actions. One perfect example for epistemology would be us teachers. Teachers would have no reason to give tasks or assignments to our learners because there would be no difference between truth and errors if there is actually no epistemology. So we need this, or we need epistemology in order to accept reality and live our lives. And since epistemology is all about the study of knowledge, is really about the study of knowledge. When we hear the word knowledge, what does it means? So knowledge, to simply put, it is a type of cognitive success. More specifically, it's a familiarity and awareness or understanding of someone or something. And knowledge includes objects, skills, and facts. So there are so many possible ways for us to get knowledge or for us to be knowledgeable. First would be perception. So for perception, it only means that it is a process by which we are acquiring informations about the world around us with the use or with the help of our five senses. Example is you look outside a window, or I look outside a window, I see that it's raining. I was able to perceive that it is raining with the use of my senses, with the help of my five senses. And then another one is introspection. Introspection, it is the examination of one's own conscious thoughts and feelings. And then memory. Memory is being able to keep informations, beliefs, like from our past experiences. So for example is our our friend shares something to us, or when like we are able to recall those past lessons that our teachers or professors taught to us, that is because of our memories or memory. And then testimony is used as an umbrella term to refer to all of those instances where we form belief or acquire knowledge on the basis of what others have told us. So just like what I've said earlier, and examples from for memory is when our friend tells us something and we believe them, that is testimony. It's getting informations from other people, or we rely on the testimony of other people. Another one would be getting like diagnosis from a doctor. Doctors have their own experts on specific fields. When we are getting diagnosis from them, we rely on what they are providing to us because they are the experts from those fields, and they have all of the tools, knowledge, and mastery for us to believe that they are saying the truth. And then lastly is reason. Reason, it is a justification for an action. So we justify why we do that or why we do these things. Postmodern epistemology, according to Webster's dictionary, it is the theory or science of the method or grounds of knowledge. And according to Paul Feinberg, he defined post-epistemology as a branch of philosophy that is concerned with knowledge. It is an inquiry into the nature and source of knowledge, the bounds of knowledge, and the justification of claims to knowledge. So you see, postmodern epistemology, it is indeed, or it is all about knowledge. So postmodern epistemology is actually based on postmodern ontology. It argues that if there is no independent reality except for its rendering I'm sorry, it argues that there is no independent reality except for its rendering and interpretation, then there cannot be absolute truth or knowledge to be discovered. That is what postmodern epistemology is. Now, here there is a conversation between Protagoras and Socrates from 4th century BC. So, according to Protagoras, truth is relative. It is only a matter of opinion. Now, Socrates answered, "You mean that truth is mere subjective opinion?" Protagoras answered, "Exactly. What is true for you is true for you, and what is true for me is true for me. So truth is subjective." Socrates said, "Do you really mean that? That my opinion is true by virtue if it's being my opinion?" "Indeed I do," answered Socrates. "My opinion is truth is absolute, not opinion, and that you, Mr. Protagoras, are absolutely in error. And since this is my opinion, you must grant that this is true according to your philosophy." So Protagoras answered, "You are quite correct, Socrates." So from this matter of statements or conversation between two, um, Protagoras never argued to Socrates' opinion about truth. Since Socrates think the other way Protagoras think, but Protagoras is stating that truth is only a matter of an opinion. So one perfect example for this is if if I believe that I am smart, since or if I believe that I am matalino or maganda, since that would be my opinion, then that is true according to Protagoras, because it is my opinion. What is true for me would be true for me. So if and then the other hand, if your opinion that you are smart, then since that is your opinion, then that is the truth. Since that is what Protagoras is providing to us about the meaning of truth here and their conversation. So key terms to be remembered for this is first would be relativism, wherein the belief is all truth is relative, being determined by some group. So relativism, ito yung pananaw na ang lahat ng paniniwala, kaugalian at gawi ay nakadepende sa kulturang ginagalawan ng individual. Ang mali at tama ay depende sa kulturang kinalakihan. So the standard or the norms, it depends actually to the group that he or she is in. Then the second one would be subjectivism, the belief that all truth is subjective, being defined by the perspective of the individual. In contrast to relativism, subjectivism is all about individuality. It doesn't have or it doesn't believe from the standards or norms of a group, but rather the individual gets to decide whether it is good or bad based on their own principles or beliefs. So it is not dependent on set of rules or societal norms, but rather on the individual itself. The third would be skepticism, the belief that truth cannot be known with certainty. So from the word itself, skeptical, it believes that certain knowledge is impossible. And then perspectivism, the belief that truth is found in the combined perspectives of many. So ang perspectivism, ito yung pagsasama-sama ng pananaw ng marami. And then fifth would be pragmatism. Pragmatism, the belief that truth is ultimately defined by that which works to accomplish the best outcomes. So, it is what works. If it works, or if it accomplished the goal which you set for it, then it is true. An example is if an employee is unhappy with his or her current job, his or his or her current job, and the goal is to be happy. The truth is that resignation would be a very pragmatic approach to accomplish the end. Or if an employee was like aiming for a promotion, the current company cannot see cannot provide a promotion that the employee is asking, then the most pragmatic approach would be resignation, as the employee can get that promotion from a different company. And then lastly is objectivism, the belief that truth is objective, reality that exists whether someone believes it or not. So truth exists outside of you. It is beyond whether you're alive or dead. If you think that it's true or false, there would actually be no difference because truth is truth, and that objectivism objectivism would say it is true no matter what, or even the whole world will turn against it. Objectivism still believe that truth is truth. Now, according to Charles Colson, in postmodernism, there is no objective universal truth. There is only perspective of the group. In postmodernism, all viewpoints, lifestyles, beliefs, and behaviors are regarded as equally valid. Tolerance has become so important that no exception is being tolerated, or no exception is tolerated. Here, postmodernists actually, their virtue is all about acceptance. They're being less subjective and be more open-minded, which I believe is what our current culture is. We are able to be more open-minded and on the different cultures that we are actually being introduced to, and the society was able to embrace those things. And the next one would be about Christian epistemology. So their objections, or their modernist objections about Christianity, like what about all the contradictions? Religion was invented by man. God is just a crutch. Jesus was just a man. The Bible we have today is not the same as when it was written 2,000 years ago. I don't believe in what I can't see. Evolution has proven Christianity to be wrong. The Bible is a myth full of fairy tales. How did Noah get all the animals in the ark? There are no such things as miracles. And do you really believe in the story of Adam and Eve? Those are the objections that modernists have to Christianity. While postmodernists, they also have objections to Christianity. Like, if God exists, why is there evil? The Acquisition and the Crusades show that Christianity is oppressive. Christianity is a way to God, but not the only way. Christianity is arrogant and exclusive. How do you know that your Bible is better than other religious writings? Why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? What about those who have never heard? The church is full of hypocrites. Why would God send anyone to hell? And the God of the Old Testament is cruel, partial, and unjust. So, if you're gonna be able to notice their objections, Christian epistemology for modernists, they values facts, rationality, and evidence, while in postmodernist they actually values fairness rather than facts, relationships rather than rationality, emotions rather than evidence. Because for Christian, the Bible is the authoritative source of truth and the most essential epistemological authority. Now, what is the modern view of truth? So, for correspondence view of truth, truth is truth is an objective reality that exists whether someone believes it or not, and that objective reality is grounded in nature. For example, the modernist would say that the correspondence view of truth is like the meter. It is objective whether anything agrees to it or not. On all other standards can be wrong, but it doesn't change what objective reality is. An example is a tree falls in the forest and no one is there. Does it make sounds? A modernist answer would be yes, because it does make sounds. In reality, once a tree falls on the ground, it does make sounds whether someone hears it or not. It will make sounds based on the situation and the reality that it is. So true statements are those which correspond to what objective reality, and false statements are those which do not correspond to what objective reality. So the key motto here would be man can and will know all truth. And what about the postmodern view of truth? So for postmodern view of truth, truth is perspective reality that exists in the perspective on the individual of group, and that perspective reality is grounded time. As what the key motto is, the truth cannot be known. It is because the truth depends on what the group or individual believes. So modernists don't have definite standard for it. What is the Christian view of truth? So the truth is an objective reality that exists whether someone believes it or not, and that objective reality is grounded in an eternal God. The difference between modern and Christian views is that from Christian view, objective reality is grounded in an eternal God, while for the modern view, the Christian view is much stronger than the modern view, as God Himself cannot actually violate the law of non-contradiction because it's actually part of His, and He cannot deny His identity. So the law of contradiction is a foundational necessity to all truth. God cannot even violate His principle since it is a logical impossibility. Key motto: the secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and our sons forever, that we may observe all the words of this law. So here are the religious spins on postmodern epistemology. First is universalism, the belief that all people, good or bad, will eventually make it to heaven. Pluralism, the belief that there are many ways to God that are actually equally valid. And syncretism, the assimilation of different beliefs and practices. So for syncretism, it is about it is mixing from different beliefs and practices. Inclusivism, the belief that salvation is only through Christ, but Christ may be revealed in other religions. So for Christian epistemology, we do have the Catholic theology and apophatic theology. Wherein, wherein apophatic theology, it emphasizes mystery or secret things. Apophatic theology sees God and much of the theology as beyond our understanding, so therefore beyond defining positive assertions. While in cataphatic theology, it's all about things revealed or revelation. It's an affirmative theology. As what I've said, as what I've mentioned earlier, it emphasizes revelation. It seeks to understand God in positive terms, understanding that God communicates to us through language and concepts that are analogous to who and what He truly is. So from cataphatic theology, it actually goes over to apophatic theology. From things revealed, it goes to secret things. And then here would be the objectivist, soft skepticism, perspectivism, and objectivism. This has been already discussed earlier. So it is a summary of what has been discussed. So from skepticism, it goes over to perspectivism and moves over to objectivism, which entirely defines what Christian epistemology is. So for soft skepticism, you are you who are naive, discern wisdom, and you fools understand discernment. So we understand that there is God, there is good or bad, but we are able to and we are able to filter it to choose right from wrong, and that is about being wise. In perspectivism, the way of the fool is right in his own opinion, but the one who listens to advice is wise. So in perspectivism, it's better for you to get informations or listen to others' opinions as well rather than just listening to yourself. So it's all about understanding from other people's perspective. We listen to others' perspective to gain more knowledge. And we have objectivism. It's acquiring truth or acquire truth and do not sell it. It only means that we should have the mentality that we are willing to gain truth and wisdom and gain it at a cost instead of wanting to forsake it. And that would be all for Christian epistemology. Thank you.